Alright, here we go. Getting my blue baby washed, spick and span clean, so we can do a nice video. Yeah. Whenever I'm testing a car, I try to be non-biased. There's good ones, there's bad ones, and even a pile of cow turds can make a bunch of flies happy, so there's something good in everything. In this case, it's kind of hard to be non-biased because I love Alfa Romeo cars and I love this Alfa Romeo sedan. And I tried to order it in burgundy or red, but all they had was blue, but that's okay. This is a nice color, and I cannot wait to get it. So, let's take a look at this window sticker and see what they're trying to charge us here. Starting at 44 grand, that's not too bad. But you know they're going to stick us with the options. Alright, $660 for that bright blue paint. Okay, I can go with that. $3,600 for a fluff package. Gives you the black leather seats and the paddle shifters. And I guess you need the paddle shifters. That would be an Italian sports car. A couple grand for the sound system. You have the Assist Active package with all the garbage like driver attention alert and traffic sign recognition. Stuff we don't need. I don't want that, but have to take it. It's already here. And then $1,250 for those aluminum wheels. Gotta have those. I'll tell you why later. And here's the total tab. Not much more than we pay for an Audi or a BMW or a Benz in this price range. And this is definitely better looking. And I see it's an authentic Italian car made in Italy. Aside from the transmission, which I'm told is the same unit they use in BMWs. I won't swear to that in court. And here's the claimed fuel economy. Good if you can get it, we'll find out. So here it is, and this is a very, very beautiful car. And here's the side view. We'll talk about these wheels in a minute. And the rear. This is already an attractive design, but if you want to make it look better, you got to get the right color. Red and blue works excellent with this vehicle. White and black, not so much, in my opinion. Also, do yourself a favor and get these wheels. These are very sharp looking, make a big, big difference. One of the first things we do is get a vehicle and check and see if there's a spare tire, and there's not. There just isn't any room in here. Nothing but a tow hook. Let me check to see what brand of tires they're giving us, because a lot of car makers are putting junk brands on, but these are nice Pirellis. No complaint there. Then when you take the headlights out in the dark and do a night drive, we already did that video posted on YouTube. We'll have a link for that in the end of this video. Just click and watch. And I see we got 3 giant bulbs or filaments in there. This little 2-liter engine puts out a healthy 280 horsepower. We already saw the fuel economy claims on the price sheet. There is a 2.9-liter V6 made by Ferrari available, 505 horsepower. Makes this vehicle very quick. Unfortunately, its $100,000 price tag is a bit more than at least I can afford. Maybe you too. According to the owner's manual, whether you have the 4-cylinder or that hot V6, you can use 87 octane fuel, which is kind of unusual for a high-performance Ferrari engine. But here on the fuel container, it says use premium for best performance. Now, this was just a regular test car. I just put standard 87 and let it in and say forget about it. But this is a very special car, so I'm going to use premium to get the best performance. Let's take a look at this cabin. Alright, number one, some journalists have been complaining that apparently Alfa dipped into the Jeep and Dodge parts bins to get some of their knobs and controls. Actually, it's the other way around. It was Dodge and Jeep that dipped into the Alfa parts bins to get some of their knobs and controls. Although it really doesn't matter. I look at it like this. Somebody like me that drives maybe 60, 70 cars a year, I can look and say, yeah, that's knob is from a Dodge, and yeah, this shifter is from a BMW, whatever. But the average Alfa owner, if you took 1,000 Alfa owners, how many have actually been in a Dodge or Jeep? A couple dozen? You think they paid attention to what knobs they were looking at? I don't think I've ever met an Alfa driver that said, hey, I got some Dodge and Jeep controls in my vehicle. None of them are going to notice. No one's going to say anything, so I don't think it's a big deal myself. Besides, everything I'm seeing here is pretty high quality, very easy to use. Nothing cheap. I'm not complaining. And here we have the drive mode switch. D for dynamic, N for normal, and A for, well, their word for fuel economy efficiency. I think it's advanced efficiency, something like that. In doing so, we'll alter your gauge cluster. I like to see full numbers on my gauge. And you have the control knob for the infotainment system, although you can use your fingers directly on the screen, like so. This brings up another issue. Some are complaining that this infotainment system is kind of complicated to use. Now for me, I just get in the programs and disconnect all the so-called safety features and set the light the way I want and the engine components the way I want, and then I just turn on the radio and I'm done. There's no reason to go back in here for me. And as far as setting radio stations, it's super easy. Here I have 341, so let's go to 349 if I want that. All I gotta do is press this. And I got 349. It takes about 10 seconds. Radio stations are very easy to program. I don't know what the complaint is. Now, as far as hooking up a phone in the system, I'm not naive enough to put my phone and hook it up into a car, so I'll never do that. As far as Apple CarPlay, Android, Steroid, Bluetooth, Blue Balls, I don't use that stuff, so I can't comment on that. If you do, leave a comment in the comment section and tell us how it worked out for you. By the way, if you want to start the car, turn it off. The button is on the steering wheel, not the dash. Takes some getting used to, but I like it here. If you don't like the start-stop system that shuts off the engine when you get to a stoplight, I hate that system myself. You can turn it off by pressing the button here, and it's gone. The only gripe I have with this Alfa, as far as the interior goes, is the same complaint I have with all Italian cars, and this silly infatuation of putting paddle shifters on the steering column instead of on the steering wheel right here, like most manufacturers do. And here's the shifter right here. So if I'm driving a straight line, I can reach this. If I'm taking a mild corner, I can reach this. If I'm taking a very extreme corner, I can't touch it. When you're taking curves on backcountry roads from 15 to 60 miles per hour, back and forth, these are pretty much useless. So if they were right here on the steering wheel, they're always within reach of your fingers, regardless of the steering angle, 100% of the time. Here, with the paddle shifters on the column, no. And whenever I say this on YouTube, I get a couple emails, somebody saying, well, you're not supposed to shift in corners. That's on the racetrack. If you're driving on a back curvy road and there's no straightaway, you're going to be shifting in corners. Or I hear the utterly ridiculous argument, oh, I like them on the steering column because I always know where they're at. Well, yeah, I know where they're at too, where I can't reach them. Does that mean you put them on the steering wheel right here, you don't know where they're at? So both arguments are totally ridiculous. And yeah, I know Ferrari puts them on the steering column too, but they're for looks. Not very functional. In fact, if I was special ordering an Alfa, this is part of that $3,000 luxury package, I just delete this and go with just the bare steering wheel. And then put the car in sport mode, where it shifts just as quick. These are minor gripes, nothing that would stop me from buying this car, which I really, really like. Let's take a nice highway trip. Let's see what type of fuel economy numbers we can get off this rig. This is a comfortable vehicle to drive on the highway. The wind noise is reasonably low. The ride is comfortable. Although there is a bunch of rumbling from the tires, but nothing serious. Pretty decent vehicle for long trips. Alright, we did 36 miles, 71 miles per hour, 31.8 mpg. I can live with that. Alright, enough about fuel economy numbers. Let's take this baby out and do some driving. On some twisty roads like it was meant to be. And here we have the Border Patrol checkpoint, where they look in your trunk to see if you have any illegals. I guess they're on their lunch break. And from now on, we will have this in the sport mode. Almost ran over that poor snake. Let's see, someone beat me to it. At low speeds, this engine's a bit on the weak side, but once you get on a road like this and get the revs up to 3,000 RPM and above, it comes to life, as does the car with its quick steering, excellent balance. It provides good handling and stability. The brakes are very strong too, although the pedal's a bit softer than I would care for, but no big deal. This Alfa was made for roads like this. A nice long country drive with some sharp corners coming up. And hopefully I won't have a cow jumping in front of me to test these brakes. I prefer to evaluate them another way. Of course, a 10-mile-per-hour truck in a 45-mile-per-hour zone. What fun. The cornerability of this car is fantastic. And we'll be taking this out to the mountains tonight to get some even tighter curves. So don't go away. As much as I like this engine, I'd like it better if there was some sort of decent exhaust sound coming out of the tailpipes. It's a bit too quiet. Maybe there's some aftermarket items you can buy. Leave a comment in the comment section and let us know. So let's take a peek at the fuel economy for our entire trip. About 50% freeway driving, and the other half driving on those twisty, winding roads at very high speed. 22.1 mpg. I think that's more than reasonable. This vehicle is made to be driven. Let's take it out and drive it. Feel some of that Italian horsepower. What a sweet engine. Very smooth too. I can see we're going to need to turn our brights on. As I mentioned earlier, we did a night drive video testing out the headlights in a separate video. And you're driving on roads like this, you need good headlights. Here I have the brights on. Not a problem. Put the low beam on. I can't see anything up ahead except some reflective signs. Could be a deer up there. These headlights are excellent. With the high beam on, with the low beams, they're worthless on roads like this. Watch our nighttime video if you want to see more. Meantime, the steering is very, very quick, as you would expect an Alfa Romeo to have. Absolutely perfect ratio for driving like this. And the cornerability is excellent. A very easy car to drive. Right now I have the transmission in the manual mode, using the paddle shifters on the steering wheel. And in mild corners I can reach the paddles, but in tight corners I just can't do it. That's why they need to be on the steering wheel where I can reach them with my fingers. Mounting it on the steering column just does not work well. A very bad place to put them. End of debate. In fact, I'm putting the transmission back in automatic mode and turning on the sport mode button because it shifts just as fast that way and less hassle. The brake pedal feels a lot softer than I would like, but the brakes are doing a great job of stopping and not overheating, so that's what really counts, right? This is really a sweet engine, especially driving on roads like this. It loves to be driven and driven hard. It loves to spin at high speeds. 280 horsepower is more than enough. But if they offer me the Ferrari V6 version with, what is it, 500 plus horsepower, I wouldn't turn it down. Well, doggone it, the bar's closed. Oh well. Does anybody know where this is? I do. Bet you don't. One thing I say about this Alfa, you'll be worn out from this type of driving long before the car will be. It just goes and goes and goes and begs for more. The way an Italian car should do it. It's not the type of entertainment you'll get from a Japanese car. As much as I like them, there is a big difference. I took a little break to get the blood circulating in my arms and legs again. But better get out of here because I see a couple of rattlesnakes over there in the bushes. And a bat just flew over my head. Vampire bat. So I think it's time to get back into town. So what's my take on this Alfa after driving for a week? Well, it's like this. If you're getting a lot of other European sports sedans, they're just not that exciting to drive anymore. You get in them, it's mainly because you got somewhere to go. With this Alfa, you don't need anywhere to go. You invent somewhere to go, so you just have the fun of driving the Alfa. It's one of the few brands that actually are intended for driving fun. If you understand that, you'll love this car. If not, better off probably getting something else, like a Toyota Corolla. Bottom line, I really like this vehicle. And since you're here, you might as well see our night driving headlight test. There's a link coming up.